introduce you, Professor David Weir, to our Professor Robert Sinclair from Canada. And now you may proceed to formally announce the closing of the conference. Thank you. Professor David Weir.
Hello, can you see me? I've got a strange...
We can see you, Professor. We can see you, Professor David Weir. We can hear you, we can see you, yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, well, I've not been to every session. I've been to most sessions. Sorry for being late with this one. We had a slight family emergency and had to go and deal with that. It's Guy Fawkes night here, November the 5th, bonfire night, and there is a dog in the family, so we had to deal with that. Can I thank everybody, particularly obviously the organizing team, but all the presenters, all of the presentations that I've heard have been very, very relevant, very, very important. And I've come away with a number of ideas, none of them original. And I think that's the first thing that I want to say about the themes of the conference. And I want to move on a little bit from the last thing I heard Professor Sinclair say just now, which was next time. One of the things that I've learned is that over the 2 days, this group who've been presenting over the last 2 days, have about as many ideas as it's likely to find in such a number of people. There are two levels, therefore, of forward thinking about that. One is that things should work out all right, but I'm afraid history tells us that things on the whole don't work out right, as the various papers on climate change, the global heating emergency, the failure of our existing systems to come to terms with that, that we have a regrettable and maybe fatal tendency to know what to do, but then not to do it, and not to do it in time. And a large portion of that can lead to despair. And of course, despair is a destructive emotion. But what we've also heard, I think, is that the ideas are there, and it's implementation that we are not great at. And just to pick up some of the themes that I think have characterized this 2-day conference, one is co-creation. And here I think pointing the finger is not enough. We have to come up with some new paradigms, for example, for how universities manage knowledge, control knowledge, utilize knowledge. And the question is, do we understand that knowledge is available elsewhere? In the UK, we have a very good program of knowledge transfer partnerships. I've been quite active in that. I was chairman at one time of the Science and Engineering Research Council committee that managed these partnerships. And there was always a problem built into how these partnerships were characterized. And that is that there is a knowledge partner and there's an implementation partner. And the implication of that is that university is seen as the knowledge partner. But that's not good enough. We're now in a world where knowledge is diversified, it's shared, it's collaborative, it's co-created, and the leadership systems of the university side of that knowledge transfer process have to understand that they have to be receptive to different kinds of knowledge and to work with that, and that some of the structures of scholarship certainly in the Western world, now need to be radically looked at and probably radically changed, and that will upset a lot of people. It's not the case that the West and the higher education institutions in the West have the knowledge and the world is waiting just to be offered that on whatever terms the big guys think are appropriate. The knowledge is there, and the knowledge is there. We were hearing some of the sessions I was in earlier today in the villages in India, if you're looking at health delivery systems, for example. So that's one of the things that I've gained from this conference. I won't say it's an original concept, it's not, but it's a concept whose application is timely. And we who think along those lines have to get into place. And the other thing that I have learned is how globalism works. This has been a conference over 2 days that I think has worked very, very well. And people have gained from it pretty much what they've put into it. And that again is a prototype of knowledge transfer, knowledge sharing, and network development. So the second big implication I've taken out of these 2 days is that we are now a network. And one of the questions is, well, what are you going to do with that? What is the next phase? What research, what implementation are you going to be on side for leading the way for? So I'd like to say a big thank you to the organizers and all the participants, but also a suggestion, and if I've seemed a little bit strong about some of it, I'm strong because there is an urgency in moving on. I talk about new paradigms. These are not just paradigms of thinking about social actions that other people can take. They are paradigms for applying the action that's required in the appropriate ways. So we are a network. I think we're a network that has shown considerable functionality over the past 48 hours, and I'd like to be part of what happens next. So thank you very much to all the participants. And we have this question now, what comes next?
Thank you, Professor David Weir, our chairperson of GCBT. This is an extension arm of the Academy of Policy and Research. So he has been an integral part and our chief mentor. We have been really honored being mentored and supported all these years, and we always take every word that comes out of mouth, we leap onto it. And thank you so much, Professor David Weir. Now.